Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my Absolutely Fried podcast. My name is Jezebel. Listen, I have had quite a fucking week. First of all, let me just say, if you're watching on YouTube, hello. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you're more of a listener than a viewer, just note this podcast is available to you on every streaming platform. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Samsung, Amazon, you name it, it's there. Just search Absolutely Fried and it'll pop up. I also just want to give you guys a reminder that if you've ever considered subscribing to the podcast, subscribing to my Twitch channel at any point, whether it be during gaming or for the podcast or just when we hang out, I urge you to do it this month, as all of the subscriptions are being donated to my friend who was recently in a motorcycle accident that has left him with very serious injuries, unable to walk at the moment, and he's just got a long road ahead of him for recovery. So we would truly appreciate if this is the month that you guys have chosen to subscribe. I love you all so much. Thank you for everybody who is subscribing and everyone that is gifting subs. Really, really appreciate it. It does help a lot. Let's get into today's episode. I have been MIA, and if you just watch the podcast, then you probably haven't noticed this at all. But if you're someone who subscribes on Twitch and you hang out with me all of the time, then yeah, I've been MIA because I got fucking sick, which blows my mind because for some reason for me, I associate being sick with winter. Like, it makes sense to get like sick when it's cold outside, right? But when it's hot outside, when it's the fucking middle of the summer, I don't think about getting sick, bitch. I had like flu-like symptoms. I'm talking about, I felt like I got hit by a truck. I was in pain from head to toe. I couldn't eat. I had a high fever. I was achy. I was like cold sweats. Like, it was terrible. And I'm wondering if anyone else is going through this. I genuinely expected to not have a podcast episode this week. I'm not gonna lie to you, but today is the first day this week that I have felt semi-normal. I'm pretty sure I'm still very sick. This is like the first day where I just haven't felt like I got hit by a truck. I still had a massive headache this morning when I woke up. I'm still kind of having an aversion to food at the moment, but I'm able to sit up, which is nice. And I like, I put on a little lipstick today. I was like, oh, like, let me try my best to feel good today, even though like I still feel like shit. I think, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've got about 30 solid minutes in me before the pain sets in again, because I'm starting to feel some pain in my back. But I said, fuck it, we got 30 minutes. That's enough to run a podcast episode. So we're gonna do it anyway. I'm not going to be smoking on today's episode, which might be crazy to some people who might be new to the podcast. But I actually used to consume typically like infused beverages more than like smoking for a while on the podcast. But at the moment, I took a tincture before I came on here. That's all that I'm taking. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that smoking right now is a horrendously terrible idea. I'm very congested, and I think that would make this worse. So I'm vibing out with my tincture that I took. It helps with my headache. I'm hoping that it will help some more later on. But yeah, that's how my week has gone. It's been rough. But during this time that I was sick, I was like, what the fuck is happening with me? Like, do I have the fucking flu in the middle of the fucking summer? Like, what the hell? And I'm scrolling on social media, and then all of a sudden I see, why do I see that fucking West Nile virus was found in my city? And you know what's crazy is, I say my city, and you guys are probably thinking like, oh, well, LA is like 100 miles, Jezebel. Like, it might not be you. No, bitch. They found that shit like right next door. Like, I'm talking about the places where I am outside, the places where I hang out. They found the fucking West Nile virus. Fucking mosquitoes and shit tested positive for carrying it. I'm like, did I get West Nile virus, y'all? Did I fucking get West Nile virus? It's possible. See, when I think West Nile virus, I think like death. I'm not gonna lie to you. You hear that name and you're like, oh, okay, death, right? No, apparently I Googled it because I was like, am I dying right now? I genuinely thought I was dying. So I Googled that shit and it was like, no, actually West Nile virus is like kind of like having like a common flu or like, like cold, like head cold type of symptoms. It's actually not as bad as you think it is. It can develop into something worse, but like most people, like that's rare. Most people just like recover perfectly fine. So a bitch might have actually had West Nile virus. I don't know. Because let me tell you, I do not be around people, so I don't even know how I would have gotten sick, bro. I don't even know what's West Nile virus or however you spell it. You don't know. You've never heard of West Nile virus? Girl, I wish I could tell you what it is, but I just thought everybody knew what it was. It's a virus from the West Nile. Maybe. That sounds right. I'm gonna stick with that one. I'm gonna stick with that one. But I thought it was either that, or I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm like mad paranoid. I thought it was either that, or I thought that I had like toxic shock syndrome. Now, if you're a man, you probably don't know what that is, but if you're a woman, you know what TSS is. TSS is that big ass warning that you get on like all of your like tampon and like pad labels that it's like toxic shock syndrome could like happen to you if you leave your pad on too long or your yeah. I TMI dog, honestly, truly, but I had accidentally left a tampon in there for way longer than I should have. I literally just forgot about it. And I got sick right afterwards. I was like, oh, I'm done. Like, I thought I was done. This whole week, I've been saying my prayers. I'm like, damn, y'all, this might be it. I might be done for real. But no, I survived. Everything's fine now. So I have like a huge fear of developing like toxic shock syndrome. And I say that, but a bitch left a tampon in for like 8 hours. But like, it's to the point where like, I'll leave it in for like 2 or 3 hours and I'm like, oh shit, that could happen. It could happen. Because I found out that it's not even about how long it's that you are using the product. It's just about how much, again, TMI. But you know what? This is very educational information. Don't scroll away. Make sure you listen to this, especially the women. It's about how much blood it's absorbed. So you could develop that shit after just having a tampon in for like 3 hours. That's why you're supposed to wear the correct size tampon. Stop bullshitting. If you got a heavy flow, quit putting in like fucking regular after regular after regular. Go get the fucking extra supers, dog. Go get the super plus. Quit fucking around. Get the super plus and change it every 2 hours. Okay? It's fine. Nobody cares. But yeah, that's actually why it's super important. You're supposed to be changing them like typically every 2 hours, and the tampon should absorb enough for it to be changed every 2 hours. Like if you're pulling out like sort of a dry tampon, that's probably better than pulling out one that's very heavily saturated. You know what I mean? Just a little educational moment, because I didn't know that. I thought that it was just that if you leave it in for 8 hours, boom, that's it, you're dead. Right? No, but it's actually you could leave it in for 3 hours and catch that shit. So, educational moment. They need to correct that. Honestly, that labeling on the box, they need to correct that. I found that out by Googling it because I was like so freaked out one day, like fucking years ago, about developing toxic shock syndrome. I was like Googling the symptoms and shit, which is never a good idea to do. But I was like Googling the fuck out of the symptoms, only to find out it was like, you know what? Of course, as Google always does when you Google your symptoms, this is why you're not supposed to. It said, yes, you do have it. And also, you might have AIDS. Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, this is why you shouldn't Google your symptoms. But, yeah, that aside, I am feeling slightly better. Not sure how we ended up where we did. But, you know what I mean? I'm feeling slightly better, and I pray that tomorrow I will be what... I would say I'm like 25% better right now. Hopefully tomorrow's like 75 or 100%. But anyway, we've got some stuff to talk about, because obviously I've been mindlessly scrolling while I've been sick, as one does. And there's 2 different things that I've noticed people have been talking about on social media that they just won't shut up about. And I'm here to give my 2 cents on it. The first thing we're going to talk about is the T app. Yes. Nobody will shut up about the T app. I have not downloaded it. I actually don't have that many exes. So, you know what I mean? I don't even think I'd see, like, my ex is somebody that I dated in high school. You know what I mean? I have a couple guys I talk to, but I don't even remember their names. My memory's failing me. It is. Probably because of how much cannabis I consume, and either that or I just did not care. Like, I just let that shit go. But I don't know if anybody else is like in that if anyone else's memory is like fucked up like that, where it's just like, I don't remember their names. The guys that I like talk to, I don't even remember. I can't even lie to you. I can think of maybe 3 of the guys that I've slept with. I can remember their names. The rest of them, I'm gonna try to think right now. I'm not gonna say their names. I'm gonna try to think. No, honestly, I don't even count that one because I walked out in the middle of it. You know what I mean? Like, that one don't even count. Let's be real with each other now. Yeah, that's all I got. That is all I got. I'm just gonna be real with you. I want to be real with you. That's all I got. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's like my brain just didn't care. But let's move on. We've talked enough about Jezebel's hoe phase. The T app. Let me just give my first opinion on it. I don't think it's gonna last. I don't. I don't think it's gonna last unless the app has really good moderation. That's the only way that I think that the T app will last. And I say that because some people are just bullies. And I already saw it today when I was like scrolling on the toilet. This guy posted a video where he had somebody send him a picture of him being found on the T app. And it was like some girl from his job had posted him on there and said that he just gave off like gay vibes. But like she was like, I used to work with this guy and he just gave off gay vibes. That was the entire post. And the guy posted a video and he's like, I don't even know why the fuck I'm on there. He's like, I know like exactly who this is. And he's like, I used to work at Olive Garden, but the thing is like they were all fucking each other already. I didn't want to be part of that. And so because he didn't like, you know, like I guess play the game, they posted him on the app and said that he gave off gay vibes. And so it's kind of like, it's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. And I think that if they have good moderation to spot these posts, because that's just bullying. Gave off gay vibes. That's just bullying. That's just like that. That's also just like such an odd thing to say, to be honest with you, to put on an app that was originally created, I think, to be like for safety purposes for women, to be turned around and used as like a cyberbullying tool is like so fucking weird. Like that's not at all what the app was for. And the person whoever posted that, they know exactly that they know the app's not meant for that. They're just trying to stir the pot here. That's all it is. They're taking the word tea and they're trying to make it more like, ooh, like hot tea. You know what I mean? Like drama. That's what they're trying to turn it into, rather than like have it be a safe space for women to be able to say, hey, this guy has cheated on me. And then 50 other girls come into the comments and they're like, you know what? I know this guy, he cheated on me too. Or this guy is married and like didn't tell me and like that's where it's supposed to be. Or this guy was like a dangerous guy, like he you know, like he's not a good guy. That's what I think that the app was intended to be used for, but instead I think that it's going to be turned into a cyberbullying app by people who are stupid, to just be quite blunt, by people who take advantage of resources for women. That's really what it is. So unless they have good moderation, I don't foresee it lasting because of stuff like that. I think kids are just going to get on the app and treat it stupid. But with that being said, it could last because I don't know if you guys remember, but prior to this T app being created, there was actually a Facebook group that I'm pretty sure is still up and running too, where you can just go into the Facebook group. They might even have one specifically for each fucking city, to be honest with you, where women were going in there and just posting about different men. And it would be like, oh, do you know this guy? Have you dated this guy? Like, what do you know about him? Like, is anyone else dating this guy that I'm dating? Like, it was a situation like that. So this has like been a thing, and it was just on Facebook, and someone just decided to create an app out of it. But I think that this is going to be something that's very short-lived. I think that it was a really great idea, actually, to be honest with you. I think it was a fantastic idea. I haven't downloaded it, so I don't know if there's like any verification as to find out who can be on the app, how old you have to be on the app. I don't know anything about that, to be honest with you. I saw one of my boyfriend's bosses. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. I personally, someone said the people on here get their licenses exposed. Got their licenses exposed? What are you talking about? Do you have to use your license in order to get into the app? Because I also heard earlier today there was a data breach on the app, which is not good. Let's be real with each other now. When we're dealing with like, that's something that if somebody creates like a brand or a company or an app or anything like that, that's the idea of creating a service for people to talk about other people or people to do something that's like wrong. Like, do you guys remember what was the name of that one website where that was literally created for people to go and cheat on their spouses? Like, it was a dating website specifically for people to turn around and cheat. Does anyone remember what the name of that was? Ashley Madison, that's what it was. And there was a huge data breach where all of the people got exposed that were on the website. you gotta really pour money into that shit. Like, there's just certain areas of the company that you can't like be lax on when you create an app like that. When we're talking about women's safety, or we're talking about people that are like infidelity, or we're talking about other people, any kind of app like that where it's meant to be something that's hidden or secrecy or anything like that, the thing that matters the most is data protection. Because a data breach happening this early on is crazy. I would not want to download the app, because that's also becomes, because if the app is created to be like a protection for women, to stop women from dating like these terrible men, don't you think somebody gonna try to hack and see who's posting about them on there? That's definitely gonna, that's literally the first thing that crosses my mind. Literally the first thing that crosses my mind. Data leaks are terrifying, though. But yeah, everyone had gotten exposed from that. There was like a huge lawsuit against the company and everything for Ashley Madison. That's like a whole other story. If you ever want to do a deep dive, it's a fun deep dive to do. And there's a million and one like YouTube videos on it, because it's such an old topic. But yeah, no, my opinion on the T app is that I thought it was a really, I think when you look at it from a broad view, I think it's a great idea. But when you really zero in on it and you start thinking about it, it's not a good idea, because of people already taking advantage of it and just talking shit on there. That's the part that sucks. So I say we stick to the Facebook groups, to be honest with you, because there is no way to data breach the Facebook group, because people are just straight up they're tagging their whole name to it. It's their profile. They're posting saying, hey, I'm dating this guy and he's an asshole, like da da da, and there's one for like each city. I say we just stick to the Facebook group. I say we don't try to make it a secret situation. I don't think that the T app will last. I think that it's just something that's like popping up right now. I heard that men are already in the development of their own app, which is horrible. And some people might see that as like, Jezebel, like that's kind of like one-sided, you know, like them having one for men and like not having one for women. Like, how are you against the one for women? Because I promise you, it's not going to be anything like that. The one that women are posting about, I promise you, yes, I just brought up somebody literally bullying somebody else, but most of the women that are posting men on that app are like, hey, this guy fucking cheated on me. And there's like 50 other women agreeing, saying, yeah, you know what? He cheated on me too. Like, I know this guy, right? Men are going to get up on this app, and I swear to God, they're going to just bully women. It's not going to be at all what you think it's going to be. It's not going to be men getting on the app and saying, this girl cheated on me and broke my heart, like the women are doing. Like, no, that's not how it's going to be. The men are going to get on there and they're going to talk shit about women. And like giving men a platform, like especially with the rise in incels, giving them a literal platform, no. That's also just going to push the incel agenda. Oh my God, who remembers like multiple episodes ago, I wish I could remember which episode it was, where we started talking about incels, and I told you guys I had seen that guy walking down the street literally wearing a t-shirt where it said incel, and it was like either the L or the I was like a fucking AK-47. I was like, he's just walking around in broad day like this is not something to be proud of, y'all. But like the incel agenda is being pushed so fucking hard online, and like they're developing an app because they think for a second. Come on, just think for a second. It's not gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. It's not gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. Oh my God. It's not gonna go the way they think it's gonna go. So, I hope that it... Fuck, I have such mixed feelings about it. I can't even lie to you. I have such mixed feelings about it. I hope that the male version of the app doesn't like work out. I hope it doesn't, because I don't think it's gonna be a good source for anything. I think it's gonna be horrible. But that's my opinion on the T app. Fuck. I think that it really sucks so bad when somebody has a good idea, but it just like they try to execute it in a good way and it just does not end up the way that they expected. And then we end up in a situation like this. Jesus Christ. Besides that, maybe I should download the app just to see if anyone I know is on it. What if people I know are on there? Like, not people I've... Not people that I've dated, but like, what if there's somebody I know? I didn't even think about that. What if I actually don't know somebody? Hold on, I'm downloading it right now. What if like my like friends that I have are on there or something? And like, I think I know this person, but I actually don't know this person. Oh, hold on one second, actually. I'm downloading it right now. I don't know how easy it is to get into the app. I'm going to tell you guys how easy it is to get into the app right now because I'm literally downloading it. How T works. Okay. I'm already on the front page. It says, how T works. Everything is anonymous. Screenshots are impossible. All women are verified. You can access all posts across the entire nation. You can search all posts in the country by a man's name. You can set alerts for a man's name. Damn. We donate 10% to National Domestic Violence Hotline. See, like, this shit was meant for something, like, good. What are we paying for, though? Do you have to pay for this? You can set alerts for a man's name. Oof. Okay, damn. It says we run background checks, check criminal records, search for sex offenders, look up phone numbers, reverse image searches, find social media profiles. Oh my God. Well, I don't think I'm going to like go through the rest of this because I don't think I'm going to upload my ID, to be real with you. I'm not trying to end up in a data breach, especially since I just had one. Let's find out what their practices are after that. That's crazy. This is actually an app that gets really deep. So it really was meant for the safety of women and men talking. Ooh, don't that just piss you off though? Don't that just really like pee you off, dude? Thinking about the fact that everything I just read out about domestic violence, them checking for sex offenders and all the criminal background checks, and men are talking about, well, let's make one for the women. Don't that just itch you the wrong fucking way? That a tool was created for women's safety, and now they want to create an app where they're just gonna turn around and talk shit. Don't that just really get you? I'm tired. Ooh. You know what? If they do come out with a man's app, one thing I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna get a man to create a profile and download it and everything for me. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna have him go through it, and I want him to show me what it is. Because I'm predicting it right now that if an app comes out like that, it's just gonna be nothing but shit talking women. That's it. It's not gonna be anything about safety. It's not gonna be anything about relationships. It's gonna be, how much you want to bet it's gonna be an app about passing women around? How about that? Like, it's probably gonna turn into some shit where they turn like a rating type of app for like rating how a woman was, and then they're gonna be like, yep, this was great, or this was bad, wouldn't fuck her. Like, how much you want to bet it's gonna be some shit like that? How much you want to bet? That's what I think is gonna happen. But we'll see, y'all. It could just be all talk. We'll see. The app exists. It's called the Boys Group Chat, and that shit hits right in the chest. It's just sad. Let's move on before Jezebel starts to get upset and starts diving into like some deep woke shit where I just like I'm on a tangent about like men and women, because I swear to God I could do that for hours. Let's move on to the next thing that I think is a very interesting topic, and I haven't seen anybody else bring this up. This topic has been discussed widely across social media for a while now, but I have particularly been seeing like an uptick in it. And it's almost turned into bullying, basically. But I've never seen anybody address it in the way that I'm about to address it. And let me preface this by saying I could be wrong. You know, don't jump down my throat, because the people that are fighting for this are fighting very hardcore. We're going to talk about AI. Oh my God, my nose. Sorry, congestion. We're going to talk about AI and if it's, it's bad for the environment. Is AI bad for the environment? Yes, there's no doubt about it. We all have an understanding that AI is bad for the environment. Coming from somebody who, when AI first, like when ChatGPT first came out, I was like, oh my God, I love ChatGPT so much. I was literally like, that's my boyfriend. I love him. Like, I literally go to ChatGPT for everything. Then like months after, it ended up coming out about like how bad it was for the environment and how much water it takes and how we're running out of fresh water and da-da-da-da. And I think everybody's pretty much aware of this. I would say, honestly, you have to live under a rock to not be aware of AI being bad for the environment, because just how many people are talking about it. And I've seen it literally everywhere. It's one of those things where it's like, unless you don't have social media, you have to have heard that AI is bad for the environment. And so I completely understand people getting online when somebody talks about AI and they're like, oh, I love using AI and da-da-da, or people interact with like AI like videos. Like, have you guys seen the whole AI ASMR videos? I think those are so fucking stupid. Literally, I'm not even joking. If I see something as AI, I scroll away. I like will click not interested. I will not watch an AI video because I will not give into that shit, genuinely. Because when you start really diving into like how much like AI could fuck shit up for us, not just even talking about the environment, but the types of jobs that it could take away from people is insane. I've already seen so many people like pouring out on social media about like how they've gotten let off from their job. I know people that just recently, there was like a string at my friend's company of like everybody getting laid off after they like outsourced with AI and shit. So like people are actually losing their jobs. I've seen like artists talking about how they lost their jobs. I saw this one woman's video recently where she had been like basically like wanting to work on this project with somebody for 10 years. It was like a decade. She wanted to work on this project. She had drawn up pictures and everything, but like for some reason like it just, the project fell through. And then she had gotten to a point 10 years later where she's like, I can actually like pay for this. Like I can push this forward. I'm really like proud of this project. And she had kept in contact with the person for the 10 years and they'd like constantly talked about reviving it, right? And they hadn't talked for about like 2 years or something like that, or like a year. And so the girl reaches back out and she's like, hey, actually, like, I would love to fund this. Like, I love this project so much. I'm so proud of it. I could like put everything together. And the woman responds to her and is like, hey, actually, I did the project already. She's like, I put it together all on my own and I actually used AI and it was super easy. She used AI to develop like I think it was supposed to be like a little comic type of like video, some shit like that, some little comic animation movie or some shit. And the girl who was like doing all the drawings for it, the woman chose to use AI instead of the woman that had been working with her on it like on and off for like 10 years. That shit is so fucking sad. I would be so angry. Yo, the girl better than me. I start realizing that I don't got I have no home training when a girl posts a video like that. And she's like, she says that she like was upset at the lady, but like the way she expressed her feelings was so cordial. She was like, you know, that just like really is upsetting because I cared a lot about this project. Oh, I would have been like, yo, I would have said a lot of mean things to that woman. I would have said a lot of mean things to that lady. So definitely better than me, but that was so insanely heartbreaking. So AI is like not only just horrible for the environment, but it's stealing jobs from people. It's taking away the human aspect of things. You know what I mean? In order for AI to develop something, you have to feed it the information. That's how AI works. You have to tell it the information. You have to teach AI, right? AI doesn't just know. It's been coded. It's been taught these things. It scours the internet for these things. And so it's pulling from things that humans have already created. AI can't develop something completely on its own without it being fed the information. You take away the human aspect of it. AI can't create art. It can't create art. If it attempts to create art, it's stolen art because it's attempting to replicate a human emotion that it's stolen from scouring the internet. And it can't do that. It's a robot. A robot doesn't have feelings. Coming from somebody who literally is stupid as fuck and will give inanimate objects feelings, like I'll run into like a fucking table and apologize to the table. Like if you sat here and you like convinced me, if you sat me down to watch a movie where somebody made a table come to life and talk about the feelings that it had, like I would genuinely be like, oh my fucking God, like my table, like I need to treat my table better. I will sit here and tell you, AI is a fucking robot. It is not human. It doesn't have emotions. You need to let that shit go. It is stealing people's jobs. It is terrible for the environment. I completely understand where people are coming from when they get upset at people online. When people say that they use AI, I'm totally with that, right? I completely understand. But here's the part that I'm getting lost at is how deep people are going with it. And this kind of sounds like a repeat in my head, where people are getting to the point where they're bullying people online for using AI. And like I said, I understand, and you have to live under a rock if you don't understand how bad AI is for the environment. I'm starting to feel like we're being pinned against each other. And when I say that, I mean, it sounds eerily familiar to back in 2020 when everybody was told they needed to stop using plastic straws because they're killing the environment. Everybody swapped their straws to metal straws, and it was about saving the turtles, and the environment is going downhill, and it's all of our faults, and we should know better than this, and we shouldn't keep doing this, and we need to stop using plastic straws. And so all these companies turned around, they started coming out with, oh, here's some cardboard straws, and everybody's like, guys, I've got my metal reusable straws. And anybody who wasn't using reusable straws got fucking obliterated. got fucking obliterated online until a movie came out. And if you haven't seen it, it's a good watch. It really is. It's gonna make you cry. It made me fucking cry. Called Seaspiracy, and it came out on Netflix. And it's basically about the trash in the ocean, and it actually debunks the idea that, you know, like using a plastic straw, like if you're going to turn around and use a metal straw, that's awesome. Like you're doing what you can, and I'm sure the environment appreciates it. You know what I mean? But that really had nothing to do with what was happening. The plastic straw use had absolutely nothing to do with anything. It was actually companies that were like going out into the ocean and like fishing with like large nets. Do you guys remember what it is that I'm talking about? I don't particularly remember because I mean I watched this like back in like what 2020 2021. How long ago is this? And it was actually big corporations, like all of their ginormous nets and stuff like that were getting left behind in the ocean, and that was actually the main cause for all of the pollution that was taking place. It had absolutely nothing to do with straws. That like straws and like our plastic use like that made up such a teeny tiny percentage of it that it actually had nothing to do with us. So it's almost like the big corporations turned it around made us turn on each other, basically, where it's like we notice that there's been like an uptick in pollution and this is bad for the environment and da-da-da. Instead of the corporations getting found out about it, they decided to find a way to turn us against each other. Like, oh, you know what? Like plastic use is bad. You should stop using plastic straws. Look, we've come out with cardboard straws now. Look at what we've come out with. Wow, you guys are bad. Like turn on each other, basically. And so I say that because at the moment, we're all bullying each other about AI, where we're like, stop getting on ChatGPT. Stop asking him fucking questions. Like every time you need something, stop going to him. And actually, yes, stop going to him. You can just Google some shit. You can find the answer. Matter of fact, I love Reddit. Reddit's my favorite place to go. And when I need to go and search something, a bitch goes to Reddit and searches. Try Reddit, but it makes me feel like it's a repeat because we're bullying each other. When I've just heard that Netflix is coming out with a movie that had AI use in it. Like AI helped to develop this movie. And they're not the only ones. There's so many companies that are using AI. I heard that Vogue is using an AI model. Now let me tell you something. In order to get the photo to look right, and mind you, it's not even fucking perfect. In order to get the photo to look right, think about how many times they had to run that through AI. I promise you it wasn't the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth time. No. I promise you they probably did thousands of times. How much water did that take? Hold up a second. Netflix developing a movie, again, is not the first, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, not the fifth. How long did it take for Netflix to be able, how many submissions did Netflix have to go through in order to help develop this movie with AI? How much water did that take? That's what I'm curious to know. I'm finding out about OpenAI starting something with the government. Do you guys remember, what was this, like a month ago? OpenAI like created a contract with the government with the military. How much water is that going to take? I mean, because we're talking about military use now. Like, chances are they're probably using the AI to develop all these different worst case scenarios and like what would play out if they decided to do this or if another country decided to do that. That's probably like what they're using AI for. But it's like, how many different scenarios are they running it through? Like, how much does this take? How much water does this take? And so for me, this is feeling like, you know, at first when people were getting online and they were like, hey guys, like stop using AI. It's bad for the environment. I was like, okay, great. This is something that really needs to be talked about. But now it's turned into bullying each other. Now we're turning on each other and blaming each other. I'm seeing people get online full blown making crying videos, like yelling at people through the screen, talking about it's horrible for the environment. Like you should be ashamed. Like calling people stupid, this and that. And it's like, bro, I get it, baby, but like, damn, I think you're yelling at the wrong people. I think that in any situation, you have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture when it comes to shit like this, where the masses begin to turn on each other. Because why are we doing that? Once I start to notice that the mass population of people, it's starting to separate and everyone's turning on each other, that's when I realize, okay, wait, hold on, there's a larger agenda actually, because we're not just trying to bring awareness to something, we're blaming each other. So there's definitely more to this. And that's why I'm just like, like I'm starting to, my brain's opening up a little bit more to the situation. And I haven't seen anybody else talk about this, which is like confusing me because I'm like, this literally sounds like a repeat. I have many questions as to why it uses so much water. So we're going to run out of water because it uses fresh water to cool down the computer. When computers run, especially when you're having so many different things run through a computer. So if you were to see what it looks like to have like in a building where they have all these computers, like AI isn't running, like ChatGPT isn't running through one computer. It's like a facility filled, think of a warehouse filled with these tiny computers, right? It's got like fucking thousands of them. Well, the thing is, like, those are each having questions and like submissions like run through them. Well, it gets hot. And so there needs to be water to cool this down. But my question is, why does it have to be fresh water? And that could be a dumb question because like I'm sure there's an actual answer for this, but it uses fresh water in order to be able to do this. And the thing about fresh water is there's a limited amount of fresh water on the planet. I'm going to actually Google how much it is. How much fresh water is on Earth? Let's see. It says only a small fraction, about 3% of Earth's total water supply is fresh water. So 97% is salt water. Can you turn salt water into fresh water? Can salt water be turned into fresh water? It can. It says salt water can be turned into fresh water. Oh, look, right here. First thing that pop up is Reddit. I love that so much. Somebody says, why don't we just boil seawater to get fresh water? I've wondered this for years. You can do this, and we do. It's called desalination. You know what was crazy is I remember back in 5th grade, I had this teacher. Fuck that bitch. She hated me for some reason. I really don't get it. I don't know. But she hated me. And it was my science teacher. And we were talking about fresh water and salt water. And I remember we were having a drought in Georgia at the time. And so she was like doing this deep dive on the topic. And she was like, like there's only a small percentage of like the water on Earth that is fresh water. And so eventually we could run out of like drinking water. And I raised my hand. She's like, is there any questions? So like I raised my hand and I'm like, why don't we, I was like, can't you just like boil salt water and like make it like drinkable? Because I had seen this on like Survivor. So I was like, isn't that a way to like drink the water? I was like, how come we don't just get like giant pots and start scooping water from the ocean and like boil it and drink it? And she got mad at me. She like told me it was a dumb question to ask. And she said that if I asked something like that again, she was going to have me written up. That's what I mean when I say she hated me. Like, I don't know what I did. I went home and I told my parents about it. And my parents were like, that's a good question, actually. That's what I'm saying. So that was kind of crazy. But I always wondered why we couldn't use salt water, just period, in order to cool down computers. Or if we can't use salt water for some reason, why we can't turn the salt water into fresh water and then use that to cool down the computers. But I don't know anything. So there's a whole lot of ifs, ands, or buts. Something tells me there's a different way to cool down the computer. Something tells me there's another option. Something tells me that fresh water isn't the only way to cool down these computers, but that it's probably the cheapest, and that's why they're doing it. The cheapest and the easiest. That's probably why it's happening, to be honest with you. But yeah, maybe that's just something to ponder on a little bit, because I think that if we're going to be angry at anybody for AI, I think that we should start redirecting our anger at somebody else, not each other. Because I also, we have this huge distraction on social media going on where we're bullying each other that we're not even noticing that Netflix is turning around and creating fucking movies using AI. That's fucked up. I also urge you, I say fuck that we should be mad at the companies instead of throwing the bullying back and forth at each other. Let's go bully a fucking company. Like, what company is Vogue? Let's bully them. Fuck it. Let's go bully Vogue. Like, that's crazy. They're taking AI is taking models' jobs. Are you serious? That's fucking ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. Just maybe something to ponder on though and think about. if you ever run into somebody that wants to discuss like AI use, bring up the companies that are using it. Instead of us yelling at each other, let's go yell at the companies. If you run into any brands or any companies that you see is using AI, maybe consider not shopping with that brand. Maybe consider not watching that brand. Because I'll be honest with you, Netflix isn't even that good no more. Netflix don't even got anything good on it. I've been sick this past week, and I can tell you right now that I scrolled on Netflix and I moved on. I was watching stuff like on YouTube. I was watching YouTube videos. I almost paid for a movie. It's gotten to the point where I'm so tired of like the same bullshit being on Netflix and stuff that I have been paying for movies. So I don't know. Maybe consider not watching on those platforms and stuff like that. Maybe that'll help. Who knows? I think that that's why they try to keep us divided, because typically when somebody is met with anger from someone else and they're like, hey, stop using this. Like, don't use AI. Da, da, da. Anger is not the way to get somebody to stop doing something. And just natural human reaction, people want what they can't have. And if you tell somebody they can't do something, a lot of people are going to do it just to spite you. They're going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter. I don't care. So as long as we stay divided amongst each other, they're able to keep being successful. And that's something that I think humans forget a lot. So maybe let's do that. Maybe let's bully the companies, not watch the companies, not eat at the places, try to stay away from the brands, not shop Vogue, don't read Vogue magazines. What does Vogue do anymore? Do people still buy Vogue magazines? I don't even know. What is Vogue? Is it a store? What is that? No. See, that's how we should all feel about Vogue. We should all be like Jezebel when it comes to Vogue. Anyway, yeah, no, I can feel sweat coming on right now, and my back is in pain. So I think that's the end of the episode. I would say we got pretty far, truthfully. I thought I had 30 minutes, 44. Hey, that's not so bad for somebody who feels like they got hit by a truck. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I'm so glad I was able to sit down and do this episode. I was worried I wouldn't be able to have one, but you know what? We persevered. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed and anybody that gifted subs. I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. Again, if you're considering subscribing, please do this month. All of the subscriptions are being donated, so I very much appreciate it. I would also like to say, if you guys want to drop a little happy birthday in the chat, this weekend is Henry's birthday. Oh my God. His birthday is this Sunday. Thank God I will feel better by then. I was also worried that I would still be sick on his birthday. So everybody say happy birthday, Henry. He's gonna be turning 24. Whoop 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 whoop. So happy for him. I love you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you guys next Friday. Bye.